There is a type of fat inside your body right now that you cannot see, cannot feel, and cannot pinch. It does not show up in the mirror, but according to metabolic research, it is the single most dangerous kind of fat a human body can carry. It wraps around your organs like a slow tightening grip, and most people have no idea it is there until the damage is already stacking up silently. I have spent a long time studying how visceral fat behaves differently from regular fat, why standard diets cannot touch it, and what specific triggers force your body to finally release it. What I am about to share is not a workout plan, not a meal replacement. It is the exact biological sequence your body needs to unlock visceral fat and flush it out naturally. We are breaking this down into 4 stages, but watch for 3 critical moments. Stage 1 reveals why everything you have tried before failed, and it has nothing to do with willpower. Stage 3 contains a flush method so simple that most people refuse to believe it works until they try it. And the final stage, the one at the very end, is the reason visceral fat stays locked inside most people permanently. Miss that, and the other 3 stages will not matter. If you are carrying weight around your midsection that refuses to leave no matter what you do, type "flush" in the comments. Subscribe and turn on the bell. Let us expose what is really happening inside your belly. Stage 1. Why visceral fat ignores everything you have tried. Quick question. How many diets have you tried in the last 5 years? 2? 5? More? You cut calories. You skipped meals. You did cardio until your knees ached. Maybe the scale moved. Maybe your arms got thinner. Maybe your face leaned out a little. But that belly? That stubborn ring of weight sitting right around your midsection? It did not move a single inch. And you could not figure out why. Because visceral fat is not regular fat. It does not play by the same rules. Subcutaneous fat sits under your skin. You can grab it, squeeze it, see it jiggle. That fat responds to normal calorie cuts and cardio. Visceral fat does not. It lives deep inside your abdominal cavity, wrapped around your liver, your kidneys, your intestines. Hidden, protected, and running its own hormonal program that actively resists your attempts to burn it. Here is what nobody explains. Visceral fat is not passive storage. It is metabolically active tissue. It pumps out inflammatory compounds around the clock. It disrupts insulin signaling. It elevates cortisol. It creates a hormonal environment inside your body that makes it nearly impossible to lose weight from the midsection, no matter how little you eat. That is why calorie cutting alone fails. You are not dealing with a math problem. You are dealing with a hormonal lock. Your body has decided that visceral fat is an emergency reserve, and it will burn muscle, burn energy, burn everything else before it touches that fat. Unless you change the internal signals first. So every diet you tried was not wrong. It was aimed at the wrong target. You were burning visible fat, while the invisible fat wrapped around your organs sat there untouched, quietly making everything worse. Stage 2 is where we start changing the signals your body is responding to. Stage 2. The cortisol connection. Most people never fix. Stop. Before I talk about food, before I talk about movement, there is one hormone that decides whether your body stores visceral fat or releases it. And most people have this hormone running at dangerous levels without knowing it. Cortisol, your stress hormone, and it has a direct, measurable relationship with visceral fat that most mainstream advice completely ignores. When cortisol stays elevated day after day, your body receives a constant signal to store energy around your midsection. Not your arms, not your legs, your belly. Specifically around your internal organs. Cortisol literally directs traffic, and it sends every spare calorie straight to visceral fat storage. And what keeps cortisol permanently elevated? 3 things almost every adult is guilty of. First, broken sleep. Not short sleep, fragmented sleep. Waking at 2 in the morning, tossing for an hour, falling back asleep right before the alarm. That pattern alone spikes cortisol by up to 40% the following day. Second, chronic low-grade stress. Not a single crisis. The constant background hum of worry about finances, family, the future. That never-ending loop keeps cortisol simmering all day. Third, long gaps without eating followed by large meals. Your body reads that pattern as famine, And famine means one thing to your biology: store visceral fat for survival. So stage 2 is not about eating less. It is about calming the system that controls where fat goes. Consistent sleep at the same time every night. A dark, cool room. No screens 30 minutes before bed. That alone starts dropping cortisol. Slow breathing for 10 minutes a day. Not meditation, just slow, deliberate breathing. Measurably lowers cortisol within days. And eating 3 consistent meals, instead of skipping and binging, tells your body the famine is over. Stop hoarding. Start releasing. You are not lazy. You are not undisciplined. Your cortisol is hijacked. Fix that, and your body finally gets permission to let go of the visceral fat it has been guarding. Stage 3. The flush method that seems too simple to work. I told you stage 3 contains a method so simple most people dismiss it. Here it is. And I need you to resist the urge to skip past it, because the science behind this is devastating to visceral fat. Meal sequencing. Not what you eat, the order you eat it in. Same plate, same food. Completely different metabolic outcome based purely on what hits your stomach first. When you eat carbohydrates first on an empty stomach, your blood sugar spikes hard and fast. Insulin floods your system. And elevated insulin is the direct chemical signal that locks visceral fat in place. Every meal that starts with bread, rice, fruit, or anything starchy is essentially telling your body to keep the visceral fat exactly where it is. But research shows that eating the same meal in a different order reduces that blood sugar spike by up to 73%. Protein and vegetables first, fat second, carbohydrates last. Same calories, same food. Radically different insulin response. Your body shifts from storage mode to release mode without removing a single item from your plate. Breakfast. Eat eggs first, toast last. Lunch. Eat the filling before the bread. Dinner. Start with salad and protein, finish with rice or potatoes. That is not a diet. That is a resequence. And it turns every meal into a visceral fat flushing opportunity instead of a fat storing event. And one more thing most people miss. Stop drinking your calories. Every glass of juice, sweetened coffee, or soda sends liquid sugar directly into your bloodstream with zero buffer. No fiber to slow it down, no protein to blunt the spike. Pure insulin-triggering fuel that goes straight to visceral fat storage. Replace every sugary drink with water, plain tea, or black coffee, and you eliminate hundreds of invisible calories that were feeding visceral fat every single day. Stage 4. The lock that keeps visceral fat gone permanently. Everything I have shared so far starts the flush. Cortisol calming releases the hormonal lock. Meal sequencing stops new visceral fat from forming. But without stage 4, it always comes back. Always. Most people skip this stage because they think it means gym memberships and heavy lifting. It does not. Stage 4 is about building lean muscle tissue. Not for appearance, for metabolism. Muscle is the only tissue in your body that burns calories around the clock, even when you are doing nothing. Every pound of lean muscle burns roughly 50 extra calories a day at rest, sitting on the couch, watching a screen, sleeping. Your muscle is quietly burning energy. Add 5 pounds of lean muscle, and that is 250 extra calories burned daily on complete autopilot. That is visceral fat disappearing while you rest. But here is why most people get this wrong. They do cardio. Long, steady cardio. And cardio without resistance training actually makes visceral fat harder to lose long term. Your body adapts. It becomes more efficient at storing fat during long cardio sessions because it thinks it needs fuel reserves for the next one. Metabolic adaptation. Your body gets better at hoarding the exact fat you are trying to burn. Resistance is what changes everything. Wall push-ups, chair squats, resistance bands that cost $10, standing calf raises, 3 sessions a week, 20 minutes each. That is enough to start building the metabolic engine that keeps visceral fat gone permanently. No gym, no equipment, no excuses. And something most people never hear. When you build lean muscle, your insulin sensitivity improves dramatically. That means your body handles food better. Sugar spikes shrink. Storage signals weaken. The same meals that used to bloat your belly now get used as energy instead. Your body fundamentally shifts how it processes everything you eat. This is why the stages must happen in order. Stage 1 removes the hormonal lock by calming cortisol. Stage 2 changes when your body receives fat storage signals. Stage 3 flushes actively by resequencing meals and eliminating liquid sugar. Stage 4 builds the engine that keeps visceral fat burning permanently, even on days you rest. Skip a stage and the system weakens. Do them in sequence and visceral fat has nowhere left to survive. Final words. Visceral fat is not stubborn because you are weak. It is stubborn because it operates on a different system than visible fat, a system that normal diets and basic cardio cannot reach. But now you know the 4 stages that can. Calm the cortisol, resequence your meals, eliminate liquid sugar, build lean muscle. That is not a diet. That is a biological reset that forces your body to release the most dangerous fat it carries. It is not too late. Your body still responds to the right signals. And now you know exactly what those signals are. The visceral fat that has been sitting inside your belly untouched for years finally has nowhere to hide. Comment which stage surprised you most. Share this with someone fighting belly fat the wrong way. They need to see this before they waste another month on methods that cannot reach visceral fat. Subscribe and hit the bell. Type 1 if you are starting this system today. Type 0 if you still believe crunches flatten bellies. Your belly fat is not your fault, but flushing it out is your choice. Make it today.